Welcome to Submission Fishing Live. Another Thursday. I'm your host, Muto. Glad everybody could join us. How's everybody doing tonight? We're almost there. Almost to the weekend. Almost to that glorious time where we all go fishing. Hope all is good. See who we got in the house today. Peter86, number one. I think that's your first time being first. Congratulations, Peter86. Glad you could join us. Benny Moreno, Oos, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. Cave Dog, Cal, what's going on, man? Welcome. Might sound a little different today, guys. We're running the speaker on stereo instead of mono because we're going to have our special guest in with us today. Kevin Nakada will be here, guys. We're doing Yellowtail special, and Kevin's going to be in studio today. So not just on call. He's not just phoning in. He's not going to be on. He's going to be here live, sitting right next to me. So any questions you guys got, now's your time. Not very often you get to speak with the Sea Samurai, the legend himself. See who else we got in here. Benny Moreno, welcome again. TV Metal Art, Todd, welcome to the show. As you guys check out this beautiful piece of artwork back here. This is from Todd. He makes does a lot of work on custom fish. He made the belts for the fishing league that we had. Kevin actually won the fishing tournament. So if you guys want to check those out, check out his Instagram on Fishing Rep. If you want to see some of Todd's work, it's everywhere. He makes, Dorado, yellowfin, pretty much anything. I've seen flags he's done. Awesome work. So go check him out, tvmetalart.com. Get some good stuff. Go get some custom art made. Andre Oos, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Salty Dangler. Oos, welcome. Glad you could join us. Awesome job out there at the SBS. You guys didn't win, but middle of the pack, that's actually pretty good for as many people go out there and fish. That's still pretty impressive. What else we got in the house? Big Water Yak Fishing. Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you can join us. Fished with your rod this week. Went to the bait barge, and I don't know why, but I decided he made me like a light spinning setup, and I had a 1,000 size reel on, and I decided to throw a 40 gram at the bait barge, and I hooked the giant sand bass. It took me like 4 minutes to get up. It was pretty crazy. That rod was like totally bent sideways, and it buried itself in the rocks, and I couldn't get it out. I free spooled it. Had to wait a few minutes, and it finally got itself loose, and eventually I got it up. It was a good fight, but I definitely went in under gun for that one. But the rod held up. I'll have to post that video. I got it all recorded, man. That thing was it was freaking bent. Jessica Buto, Oos, welcome to the show. Glad you could join us. Louis Mendoza, glad to see you back, man. Oos. Graham, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Oos. What else we got in here? Spinning Rod Rebel, Marvin, what's going on, man? Michael Tran, good to see you in here again. Sea Samurai, welcome to the show. Fresh One, what's up, fellas? What's going on, man? John Escobar, the killer himself. Oos, what's going on? You guys follow him on Instagram. You want to see some spotty work? I think this guy fishing more spotties than anybody I've ever seen. Every day I'm seeing these posts. Great stuff, though, dude. I love it.
Is that John that's doing this stuff, vertical fishing?
Yeah. Well, he fished from shore.
Well, but he's doing it from the yard, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Gotta have him on sometime.
Yeah, John. Do you vertical fish those the submission fishing jigs, or are you casting them out in like a dropping and retrieving? I'd be curious to see what your technique is. Let us know. Let's see here. Brian likes to fish. Let's go. No work today, huh? They let you off the hook. Glad you could join us. Always glad we can have you on here live. Captain Dan, welcome. North County in the house. That's right. Headed to Newport Beach to shoot an episode of The Fishmonger. I'll listen as I drive north. Was shooting past 2 days at new episodes. Awesome, guys. Yeah, check that out. So he does a show called Fishmonger. And what do you do with there, Dan? I know you produce it or write it. I'm not really sure what your role is. I know you're heavily involved in the production of it, but I have to get you on sometime to talk about that. But check it out. It's a cool show.
Did you see all these answers on your Instagram? They're all from Aaron.
Dang, getting
There's
it.
like 15
SD Fisherman, Oos, welcome to the show. Ironfish, welcome. Leonard, welcome. Dario, welcome to the show. Good to see you, man. Glad you could be here. John says both cast and retrieve and drop vertical from the docks. Nice, dude. That's solid. That's good stuff. Hey, Kevin's there. We'll bring him into the frame. We're letting you guys wait a little bit. We're building suspense. I don't want to use up all the screen time, so we're easing it in, and we bring in the star. It'll be good. Fishing with Uncle Dan Dan. What's going on, Jordan? Glad you could join us. Uncle Dan Dan here. He was I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the first winner of Spotty Bowl. The first ever first place. Is that right or is that wrong? Because I think I remember you were fishing from shore even. And got the first W. Let us know. But yeah, guys, we got a good show. We're going to talk about Yellowtail for sure. We got other stuff going on, too. We're going to talk about, get a nice little announcement for you guys midway through the show. We'll talk about that. And, yeah, whatever questions you guys got. And, we'll get to it. And we'll go for, I didn't have really any news. Nothing that I saw that stood out. I did check. Obviously, the bluefin bite's on. Yellowtail are out there. So it's basically time. We talked about that last week quite a bit. And if you got the means to get out, especially those day and a halves, man, they're out there killing it, getting those pigs. Questions from we'll go over some quick Instagram questions. Peter86 says, why did I accidentally buy Alexa 400? That's a good question, Peter. A question I don't have the answer to.
Somebody else said I accidentally bought one.
That's a question that's a self-reflection question. Why did you buy the Alexa 400? Is it for your new rod, the MMFC rod? Those things look pretty sweet, by the way. Those look pretty nice. I just don't have a need for. I would buy one for sure. I think it's totally worth it. But I don't have a need for that in my arsenal, unfortunately. Aside from the fact that it's like a one-off and cool, it's almost worth buying just to have, to be honest with you. Big water yak fishing. Is the boat still a thing? That's what I hear, Aaron. Believe it or not, apparently the boat was shipped today. But that was from a week. So I think I talked to the guy 2 weeks ago. He sent me an email and said that April 14th the boat was supposed to be shipped. The boat was supposed to be shipped April 14th. That's what he told me like 2 weeks ago. So we'll find out. I still got to get electronics and stuff put on it. So and it's coming from, I think they're made in Washington, Washington State. So they ship them down. It's like a northwestern boat. That's where they're made. We'll find out. So hopefully the boat's still a thing. I mean, I put a bunch of money down on it, so hopefully we get it. Yeah, but we'll see.
Okay, that's all your questions.
When is the next jig shipment? Yeah, that's been the question everybody's been answering or asking, I should say. Hopefully by May. I mean, that's the target. They're supposed to be done by the end of April, and hopefully we get the jigs. We'll get a new batch like the 20 grams I know everybody's looking for, but we're getting some 400 grams, 500 grams, 600 grams. Hopefully the big one's in too, and some other stuff too. I'm really excited to get that going. I want to get those in tackle stores and at least get some 20 grams back in your guys' hands.
Man.
Everybody's fiending for them. Everybody lost them. Right? You got to tie up. Somebody today was saying they were down to the last jig. They're going to tie on 100-pound mono. It's not a bad idea. Submission Fishing Co. Pickle Run. Yeah, I'm down for a pickle run. That wasn't something. I didn't organize the pickle run last time. That was one of Roman's things. I know he didn't get to go last time because something came up with work. So if he wants to put one together, that's kind of like his thing on his end. So if he does it, yeah, I'll definitely go. If he doesn't want to do one, obviously we will put something together. But yeah, pickle run that's kind of his brainchild. So hopefully he puts another one together. That'd be awesome. Are you nervous about being a dad soon? I mean, not really. You get all the emotions, right? You're happy, you're nervous, you're scared, worried. You get all the emotions for sure, but I'm more excited than anything. I mean, kind of bored with life, so dad's the next evolution, I guess.
I guess that's a good answer. I'll take it.
We got the peanut gallery over here. The live show's not the same. Get the room full of clowns. Salty dang.
It's kind of nice, actually.
Right? Not too often I get heckled on my own show, so it's nice. You get the live roasting. It's good stuff. Let's see who else we got. Brian likes to fish. Just got a special reel for slow pitch jig from Japan. Came in today. Hell yeah.
It's gonna be an OSHA guaranteed or something like that.
What kind did you get, Brian?
Yeah.
Let us know. Acquiring of Minds wants to know.
Maybe that Conquest with the power handle.
Let's see. Leonard, I have not lost one slow death jig yet. I hope it will happen at some point. I know it will happen. Dang, dude. You jinxed it. You're going to lose them all next.
So just put a banana on your bowl.
That's awesome. Steven Mendoza, what's going on? Looking forward to our trip when I get back from Florida. Yeah, by the way, guys, I think I said I was going to Florida, right? Last week? No, that's next week. So next week I'll be in Florida. Not this week. I'm not in Florida right now. I'll be in Florida next week. It's good stuff. My wife is getting induced May 5th. Oh, wow. Good luck to you.
And her.
We'll suffer together. I guess that's what everybody tells me. You want to know what's BS is like when you like. Let me tell you guys some nonsense right now. When you don't have kids, right? When you don't have kids, right? Everybody tells you, "Oh, kids are so great. You need to have kids. Kids are magical. Kids are the best thing in the world. They changed my life." And then you're like, "Oh, my wife's pregnant. Guess what? I'm gonna have a kid." Everybody's like, "Oh, dude, that sucks. Your life is over. You're not gonna be able to do anything." It's like the truth comes out. I think everybody just wants you to like suffer with them because when you don't have kids, people are like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing in the world." Like they want to convince you that you're missing out. And the second you tell everybody that you're finally having one, it's like you're not gonna get any sleep. You're not gonna go fishing anymore. You're not gonna be able to do anything. So just wanted to say I hate all of you. In short, that's what that means. You're all a bunch of liars.
Did you see this one? I want to know where he's fishing. I will dive that.
I'm pretty sure I lost 12. I lost a lot of jigs too last weekend, but I was over near the bait bars, and that's that. It wasn't 12 jigs though.
I want to know.
I mean, hopefully you lost.
Line was used.
Not Hopefully it wasn't submission fishing, slow death jigs.
But we know where you can
Lose the other ones.
20 grams.
If you want 40 and 60 grams, you know where to find them. Salty telling the truth. All right, guys. Without further ado, you guys ready for the Yellowtail deep dive? I know that's why you're all here.
Wait.
Oh, Jessica's telling me to wait.
El Sueño and Salty had 2 good questions.
Oh, we had 2 quick questions from Salty and El Sueño. They weren't for Kevin. El Sueño, what's your fishing setup for fishing the bay for the first time? I mean, it depends. What jigs do you plan to fish? That's a tough question because if you're doing, are you gonna fish underspins? Or are you gonna fish, slow pitch jigs? Are you doing a Ned rig? Just something light, like in general. It's hard to say. I think a light spinning setup you can't go wrong with because you can do a Ned rig off of that, and it's sensitive enough. You can throw the small jigs. I call it like pitching the docks. You can pitch the docks with it. You can even do a paddle tail with it with the lighter underspins. And everybody here is like, not everybody here, but a lot of people, they think using like a spinning reel is like makes you some subhuman fisherman. But spinning reels have their place, guys. Don't sleep on them, especially for light stuff. I really do like spinning reels. But I'd say something light. Honestly, the Phoenix M1 inshore, the light spinning, like the lightest spinning you can get, that one's been money. It's super sensitive, and it's got power too, and that's been pretty good. That if you pair that with like a 2500 size reel, I think you'll be set. You can pretty much kill any spotty with that thing, and even get up like a decent sized halibut if you need to, for sure. At least that's my recommendation. I think everybody in the chat will have a different opinion on that too. So hopefully that answered your question. You said Salty had a question too.
Yeah, it's in the private chat.
What weight line for Lexa 400 and the new MMFC rod, and why is Kevin recommending 65 pounds? See, that's a question for Kevin.
Okay.
Is that where you'd like to come in and answer?
Sure.
Everybody, welcome to the show. Kevin Nakada. So we're going to try to do this with one mic. He wanted to sit on my lap, but I was like, dude, let's we're going to get another chair. We'll do 2 chairs. But,
Oos.
Yeah, let us know if you can hear it. This is Kevin Nakada. You can find him Fishing Rep.
Yep.
So tell us about the Lexa.
So I recommended 65-pound test Power Pro because the original stuff, not the slick, and green because it cuts through the kelp the best. So when you're throwing this particular combo around, whether you have a surface iron or a stick bait or poppers, whatever it might be, if you want the range to be, for yellows and bluefin, you're going to want that 65-pound test Power Pro in case you're fishing close to the kelp and you want to cut through it. Now is probably that time, and then once you get about June or July, it might come up to where you want to fish straight popper and yo-yo, or not yo-yo, but surface iron fishing for bluefin, and that's a totally different setup, like that, or at least for line. You're gonna want to stair step your way up with 40-pound hollow ace Power Pro, and then have a little 50-yard section, maybe 80-yard section of 60-pound test hollow ace Power Pro that you've basically connected, you spliced, so that there's no knot. It's just literally braid to braid, and
That's what the hollow core stuff.
that's
right?
what the hollow is. Yeah. So you can finger trap it, and you maybe put a little tack glue on there, but the whole thing goes right through.
And does that hold itself? So just that and glue, and it bites down like
You
it's
don't even need
fine?
glue.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. If you go hollow to hollow braid, and you put like 40-pound into 60,
Interesting.
it's so
There's enough
clean.
binding, and it binds down on the line.
Yeah, you kind of weave it around, so you pass it once through, and then you go out and then back in that little bit of the out and then in creates that that tension between the two pieces of section of that braid that's going in.
Oh, nice.
So it's interesting. It works super good though.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely like kind of foreign to me. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen it and I've heard of it, and I know Jessica was asking me about it, like why would you use the hollow core, and I was trying to explain it, but I didn't
It's line
quite
capacity.
understand. Interesting.
So if you heard what I said, like 60 at the top, because all you need the 60 for is just for the additional like security of, potentially that line touching the boat and rubbing a little bit, creating chafe, and then you might get enough roughness to where that fish breaks off. It's on big bluefin. You have the 40 underneath for capacity. So if you do that kind of transition with splicing, you get up to like 260 yards on the Lexa 400.
That makes sense.
Which is a lot.
So it's just like a hack to get the. So you're not getting spooled out. Right?
Yeah, you don't want to get spooled, because when those things are hot on the surface, that's usually where you can get them best and not get spooled. You'll get spooled a lot doing deep jigging, because
you're already down.
You're down.
Right, like 200 feet, yeah.
No, more.
Or more, yeah.
You're down 350 to
Yeah.
480 sometimes, because they hunt down there differently at night. So,
That's crazy.
yeah, you're already down there, and if you're already down, basically 100 to 200 yards, around that, right? It's basically like a 300 to 450 feet. It's like 100 to 100, or 100 yards to 150 yards of line out. If you get bit and that fish runs out and down even more, then you're going to be out another 400 yards. So you need 550, at the least, to be able to have a chance. That's not including turning the fish around, because you have a tiny little spool with no ability to turn that fish.
That's true.
So you need a little bit of capacity at the bottom to be able to turn the fish. But when you have a popper fish, they're already so hot, they've already exhausted so much energy chasing food around that they don't go very fast and very far. You button that thing down, you just hang on, and if you need to move the boat to them, that's fine. But like, there's some big ones.
That makes a lot of sense. I never even really thought about that. So they're burning up the energy already just to eat the fish. So when you get them on top, that makes sense too. Yeah, because when you fly line a fish, they're usually close to the boat. I mean, you're not.
They're right there.
Yeah, your bait hasn't gone that far out, but
at night
I never
they're
really
chilling.
thought about that. Yeah,
at night they're chilling. They're like kind of cruising down there, and just they're not sleeping. They're looking for food. They never really sleep. You know,
right.
The only time they really sleep is maybe like when they're puddling and stuff like that. It's kind of like their slumber period, when they're just kind of keeping the core warm and being able to digest food.
Right.
Because people don't understand, maybe not a lot of people understand, and they should, but bluefin is a warm-blooded creature. It's like us.
Right.
They're not cold-blooded like other tuna. So they can adjust their temperature, their core temperature, to be hotter than the outside,
Yeah, so they're
temperature of the water.
their own energy source.
Correct.
Yeah, so they're not restricted to the same.
That's why they need to eat a lot.
That makes sense.
Tons.
And let's see. He said he'd love. Chris Hurtado said, "I'd love to see a short video of Kevin splicing hollow to hollow."
It's not even, honestly.
There you go, Kevin. It's
no.
not that hard.
There's so many videos out there on YouTube, man. Just watch. It's so easy to do. It's a needle, and you put this needle through there. It's no big deal.
Apparently, you don't need to see it, guys.
No.
Kevin says no.
No, I'll show you videos of fishing, and that's why I get a kick out of it. The tech stuff's kind of someone else's forte. I think there's a lot of really good guys. I actually don't even do my splicing. You know who does my splicing? Is Angler's Choice.
Yeah.
Because you know what's even better?
So it's one of those things kind of get it done.
You know what's even better than splicing yourself and then blaming yourself for doing a bad job? Is
Blaming somebody
the shop.
else. Yeah. Yeah. 100. Dude, I'm down for that. It wasn't my fault. It was somebody else's
Yeah,
fault.
someone else's. Go ahead.
See,
What's up, hobby? Come on. Why is my line coming
Right.
out?
TV Metal Art says, how do we spot schools of Yellowtail on the surface? Off colors, good glasses, slight disturbance, something different. Others.
Dang. Todd's getting in there with the tough stuff already.
We can come back to it if you want to go with the
No,
basics.
we
We'll go into it.
whatever you want. You know, a lot of people. I have a few videos out there. I've done YouTube videos. You know, I did it in like 2010, and I captured some really cool stuff. What Todd's talking about is not like normal like boiling up yellowtail. This is just regular fish swimming around, puddling or breezing, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
They don't even do that sometimes.
So you're not looking for the boil.
No.
Traditionally, we see the birds, right? You're like watching them dive. They're pushing the bait ball up. But this is just
Free swimming fish.
Just fish not boiling, not coming up. Not doing
They're
anything.
just cruising around, living
and
their lives.
you can see that?
Yes.
And what is the,
The trick?
what does it look like? Or what is how would one determine it? Is it like a learned skill, just watching it over and over? Or is there like a distinct pattern where you're just looking for like a blotch of water that is changed? I know you've explained it to me, and we took it out, and like sometimes I don't even know what I'm looking at.
I know 10 people that know how to do this aside from myself.
Right. So
it's not. There's only 2 people I know that do this regularly, and that's myself and Josh Pruitt. So
is it just a time on the water thing?
It's a lot of time.
Interesting.
There's it sounds like, you know, I'm just kind of telling you it's too hard to do, but it's not hard to do. It's hard to learn.
It's one of those things like you need the feel, right? Like, you know, a lot of things you can explain something to somebody, but until they've actually done it and then like seen it and then caught the fish, like you understand. But if you just go out and say, oh, look for the wavy waters, it's different than the other wavy water.
Yeah.
You're kind of never going to know.
There's what Pruitt used to say was, to me, we would always come back to the shore and be like, hey, what'd you do? And, oh, yeah, well, I was pointing at my client, and I was telling him there's fish 100 feet off his bow. And the guy and Josh would be like, it's right there, dude. Like, just cast in front of you. I'm telling you, just believe through the cast of faith right now. The guy would never make the cast right because he just didn't understand. Like, just literally cast straight in front of you. He would get panicked and, like, he didn't know what was about to happen. Then Josh would throw literally perfect right in front of the school, lead him, and get bit. And the whole school erupts right there. And the guy goes, I never even saw them. I don't know what the heck you guys are seeing. So I tell people that the best thing you can do is obviously wear polarized glasses. So guaranteed you won't be able to see jack if you don't have good polarized glasses.
I feel like that's like fishing 101, yeah.
You've got to have good polarized glasses. The color matters. You know, copper lens is like it. Blue and grays.
As opposed, you don't like the grays?
No, because they don't pull out the color of the back of the fish.
Interesting.
The fish's back is a different kind of color to the water.
Yeah.
So
for those of you guys that don't know, like when you buy glasses or high dollar like polarized glasses, Costas, Oakley's, there's the base is a different color. So you can get, even though they're polarized, they can even be different colors too, like red, blue, but they all have like a blue might be set on a gray base, or the orange might be on like an amber base. So there's actual bases of the sunglasses that is different. So some people say, oh, I fish with gray glass. Like I have a pair of gray and I have a pair of like amber, I think. I've got each one, and the amber ones are like yellow and my gray are obviously gray, but you can have gray on a different color. So the base of the glasses is what we're talking about on the polarized lens. So
yeah, the browns.
And which ones did you use? The bronze?
Any brown, copper, green, amber, that same, even bright yellow, like high vis. Hobie Polarized, when we were doing stuff with them, they made several lenses based on like recommendations from myself, Morgan, and Howie, who are all there, and they made this one called the Sightmaster, which was a copper lens on the front and a yellow on the back. So in the morning, nothing else could see what you would see with the Sightmaster. They still sell this thing; it's really good, but you'll see way under the water compared to a gray or a blue or even a copper in the morning, and then same at night or super cloudy weather that you couldn't even penetrate through the water. That Sightmaster's the deal. So lenses make a huge
Yeah.
difference when sight fishing, and that goes for any kind of fish.
Yeah, especially like when you're shallow. Yeah,
super shallow. Yeah,
that's big time.
but yeah,
Best Tech TV. So wouldn't it be a better idea if I just upsized my reel, therefore adding more to your line? Yeah, I don't.
The Tranks 500 is a really good tuna reel, and you could still do the stair step with the line.
Do you prefer like the baitcaster style as opposed to the conventional, or do you not have like a preference?
I
well,
do,
if you're casting, right?
So I've messed around with quite a few things. I've done spinning reels with like the Saltiga. Oops, there's.
See this?
Dang.
Show 101, man. Turn your phone off. You believe this guy?
Dang, that was probably some $10,000 order right there. It's missed. Just kidding.
Just kidding. I'm making sure my phone's off too.
I
know it's gonna ring next time.
Everyone just letting you know that was a 20-gram order.
Yeah, that was the 20 grams coming in. They were calling Kevin saying, "Hey, let's."
$10,000 fish.
Yeah.
So the reels back.
So I prefer on that MMFC rod, and the reason why I made this MMFC, or I didn't make it, but I helped design it, was because there was 3 rods originally made by Seeker for myself, Roman, and Brian after that video.
That. Yeah.
And I really, I've been kind of exploring this idea of running bait casting reels like Alexa 400 for tuna, because you can cast them really far.
Right.
They have magnetic brakes now.
They're made to be cast when you're fishing surface irons and stuff.
But very far.
You're right.
And you can use braid, and you'll never have to worry about getting backlash because of all these brake systems on them.
Right.
With a Talica, especially a Talica or even an Avid, the spools are so heavy that, especially when they're full of braid, that when you throw them, there's so much momentum in the spool that it wants to go. So the spool wants to go faster than how fast it's actually traveling through the air in the popper.
Right.
And so the thing goes under the line will go underneath the reel spool and then stop it because it just caught up to it and literally cuts you off.
Right.
If you do that enough times, you'll start fraying your braid. When you hook into a 200-pound fish or even a 100-pound fish, you're toast. Forget about it. So I've also tried like dog fights, Saltiga dog fights on spinning reels, Saltiga 5000s, 6000s. It's a pain, dude, when you hook a fish on a spinning rod. Just look at Brian in that video. He got so overworked, dude, on that 50, 60-pound fish. Imagine hooking a 140-pound fish. So last year,
crazy.
I hooked a 140-pound fish on Alexa 400 and a Cousins 858 rod, a 8'5" medium heavy rod. Dude, I brought that thing in an hour and 10 minutes. Like, it wasn't that bad.
That sounds pretty bad.
So it's not that bad. So when
hour and 10 minutes?
Hour and 10.
I'd be dead.
No way. You
Just drop me overboard.
But that rod is the best thing I found to be. You can actually pull on a big tuna with that rod. I'm gonna go do it myself. Like, I can't wait.
That's awesome.
If I get a chance to throw out anything above 100, and I'd like to see it get a 200-pounder on a Tranks 500 in that rod. So
if you're going, let's circle back to the to kayak fishing for, not even kayak fishing, maybe from boat, but you're going out for yellowtail.
Mm-hmm.
Say we're going out to La Jolla, and you're going to specifically target yellowtail. I mean, like what are you bringing? Like what setup would you be like, dude, you should have this?
Okay.
Or what are you fishing right now? I guess
it depends on the person. It depends on the time of year, and I say the person first because myself, I'm not going to go out there and live bait fish for yellowtail myself. Right. I'm going to go catch them on a surface iron, a slow pitch jig, a yo-yo iron, something artificial, a stick bait, like something fun. Right. And it's not to brag, but I've caught enough of them to be like, I can be okay with not catching a live bait fish. A live bait, you're going to catch a yellowtail. If you drag a mackerel 150 feet behind you, a 30-pound test leader with a 2-aught Gamakatsu, ringed Gamakatsu live bait hook.
So what do you do?
HD,
That's just traditional. So traditionally, you would just go out there, sabiki some mackerel.
Traditionally, go out there, you get greenbacks.
Right.
Not Spanish.
Not the Spanish, right.
Because the Spanish, they just sit there. When you're trolling them, you don't feel them.
Right.
The greenback is always doing the thump. So you want that thing to be thumping through the water and giving off that vibe like I'm scared.
Let them know I'm here, right.
Like I'm scared. Like
and how do you usually do them? Like a
nose hook.
Nose hook on
fly line.
You do like a Oh, no way.
No
so
weight.
you're not adding anything down.
No.
So you're just letting them... Interesting.
Because the fish, the
Interesting.
yellowtail that you're looking for, especially summertime, are like, and even in the fall and winter, they're like this deep below the surface of the water.
So they're shallow.
They're cruising. They're just looking for anything that's right there that they can just quickly go and grab. They're not... Sometimes they'll go down and they're trying to push bait up off the bottom, but
they want to eat it.
But
like,
they
towards
want
the
to eat it
surface.
on top. Yeah, they'll eat it below,
Oh,
but they're
interesting.
going to want to eat it up there. Squid's totally different. You know, that's a totally different thing.
Salty.
I like what Dario said.
We've all...
I eat the
We've all
Spanish.
been there. We've all been there.
Oh,
Oh,
what
Dario?
Salty said?
Dude, Dario, he is full. He's like the...
I eat the
He's the Spanish
too.
mackerel guy. I did bring some home and we ate them. They were okay. Jessica wasn't the biggest fan of them. Look at she
Spanish?
She give me the face right now. She's like,
Really?
Yeah.
What about the greenback?
She give me the white face.
Whatever he brought me and said.
Are you talking about greenback or Spanish?
No,
mackerel?
I didn't eat no. I don't like the greenbacks. They were Spanish mackerel.
You guys
They,
live.
I thought they were good.
But you guys-
I thought they were fine.
There's a good spot.
But they weren't like great. They weren't like the best thing.
You've been a Wrench and Rodent before?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys know, if you don't know about Wrench and Rodent, this place
we've
is
been
one of
there,
the
yeah.
best sushi restaurants
Yeah.
I've
We
ever
have been there.
to.
It is good.
Pretty good.
It is.
They
good.
make bomb saba,
Captain-
which is greenbacks. Oh my god!
We'll have to go with
Interesting.
you sometime.
I brought in some saba. I don't. I probably shouldn't tell them, but I brought in some saba. Sometimes the things were like 2 feet long.
And
They
loved it.
and I iced them. I gutted. I gilled them. I did everything perfectly. I said, "Hey, can you like let this roll? Like, can we make this happen?" They made it. It was some of the best fish I've
That's
ever
pretty
had.
cool.
Not joking.
Guess you could eat anything. Yeah,
I wouldn't do it myself. Like, I've tried a few times. I'm not a fan.
that's pretty funny.
So,
So
Awesome.
so we're out on the. So we're saying if you want to just catch one, go fly line and back.
fly line and mac, 150 feet
150.
behind, and 30 pound, 40 pound. I use sometimes 40 pound fluoro, if the fish are in the kelp, which brings up a totally different part of the deal. Like, how deep should I fish?
Interesting.
Sometimes the fish are in 300 feet of water, not deep, but like out there looking for food. Sometimes they're in 25 feet of water. So you have to look for life. If you find a bunch of bait, you're right in the area. If the birds are on that bait, you just got to wait it out and stick to it,
Interesting. So we're not fishing, but these days you're not fishing live bait.
I don't fish
We're
live bait.
over
If
it.
I had a client with me, like, yeah, I
And
would
you
tell
just
them.
wanted to get them bit.
You're right.
So then what are you bringing?
For my setups?
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to get bit on the Javelin, the 130 and the 220. The 220 I think is really good, like as far as speed in how it falls. I'm really interested to see if that gets bit by yellows. I haven't personally, and I don't know many people that have done slow pitch fishing for yellows here. I know I've speed jigged for them with knife jigs with the 200 gram, and
Right.
that's good. So I can see that that's going to work out. I want to get it bit though.
They'll work. I caught one on a patty, but it was a
Yeah. Did it eat
it was a small guy on the fall. Yeah.
Hmm.
And they were close to the boat, but I haven't got one of those monsters on it. But
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely get them when they're underneath, man. And you're working it. It's like everything eats it. The yellowfin, the bonito.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think the slow pitch is really good for the fall and winter and in early spring, like just max February for big yellows.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try more of it this next coming winter. I think we're kind of phasing out somewhat into it. You could probably still get a little bit more action on some white sea bass potentially, and maybe like a halibut. I haven't really had
Interesting.
too much experience with this yet, but I'm
Right.
working it.
Nice.
I hooked a black sea bass the other day, and that was like they're kind of like, yeah, there's probably stuff that'll eat it,
Yeah.
But,
And then you're doing a surface iron setup.
surface iron. Right now. I'm fishing a surface iron, a Kicker 25 in the gold and mint. I forget this color that he makes. Because I'm repping them. I want
Right.
to show the product working in its best light. I used to fish stick baits up until this point, and man, stick baits are the bomb. But not a lot of people give them a chance because everyone's hyped around the stick baits. It's the same thing with slow pitch fishing, right?
Right.
No one did it until someone did it.
Until somebody did it, yeah.
So
That's
I didn't do 20 gram fishing under a dock until you told me to do it,
Right.
and then I
Yes.
did it. And now it's all I want to do.
Now,
Like,
now you've seen the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got submitted.
That's like the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst kept secret now. But yeah, that's definitely cool. And then, but when you're throwing a surface iron and you're waiting till you're seeing the surface action or your magical like wavy water that you guys see. Are you throwing magical wavy water that only 3 people in San Diego can do? Are you throwing? Do you just throw it right in the
truth.
middle of like
No.
say we see the birds boiling? Are you going? Are you watching
Well,
how it goes and casting ahead of it? Are you in front of it? Like, where are you trying to put the...
Birds boil, or fish boiling, it's forget about it. Just get your jig anywhere near it and it'll get smoked. But
Okay. So you don't have to be like...
leading it.
Don't bury it in the...
You can bury it. Just get it right in there.
Okay.
Throw it right in
So
the
that's
junk.
fine, too.
When it's going, go. But
you prefer to lead it?
I lead mine when they're not. When not boiling. So I have... Because they're swimming and they're not in that mode. You have to turn them on. So that you have to show the fish that there's this vulnerable thing that's obviously something tricky. Because why would this stupid thing be cruising right in front of 25 to whatever how many numbers of Yellowtail?
Right.
It's not like nothing does that.
Right.
So they're gonna go up and all they're gonna do is react to it. So you got to give them this distance where they're not inspecting it, and
so they're coming up to it, like kind of on their way.
They're kind of like
Interesting.
they're all, and there's not just that 5 fish you see on top. There's like 20 below.
Right.
So and they're all get like really excited right when they turn. One turns to it, and the whole school's gonna realize something's up.
Interesting.
And then if you get more than one fish, it helps even better because everything gets competitive. Because they'll go, oh, shoot, this guy's gonna get something that I want. I should try to go get it before him. And then they just all fiend for it, and they fight over it, and one's gonna get it. So that's the way it normally goes with live bait too. So if you have a nervous bait and you never get bit, there's fish around, but it's probably a single fish, and they're probably not turned on to wanting to react. But if you got 100 fish schools down there, you're going to get chomped. Right. It doesn't matter how dead your bait looks, so or lively at that point.
That's good stuff. Dario wants to know, Kevin, are you using traditional slow pitch rod? What are you using when targeting the yellowtail with slow pitch jigging?
Right now I'm using a Saltiga 35. That's the narrow version of a Saltiga, same width as a 40 or same height as a 40, but a narrow spool. And then I'm using a Savage Gear slow pitch rod that I was given as a sample in the 300 gram, which I feel like is a great rod because I'd rather be overpowered on an SPJ than underpowered for that kind of fish. Just my opinion.
That makes sense.
What are you using?
So you are using... Right now I've been using the Phoenix.
Which one, though?
Phoenix Titan. I've got the one, I think 100 to 250 gram, and then the 150 to 350 gram. I've got like 3 rods. And
what reel? The Fathom, right?
Yeah. I've got a Fathom, a low profile. And then, but for like the bigger fish, I got one with the Fathom 15 2-speed.
The 15 is like... That's kind of a small reel, isn't it?
No, it's a beast. The 8... 15, it's got like the same drag as like a 40 and everything else. It's like 30 pounds, and it's got the big football handle. It's just, it doesn't hold as much line, and it's a little more narrow, but it's a beast for sure. And then the other ones I use like and then I got the other one, I think a Okuma Komodo, the 400, and then I got the Phoenix Fathom, not the Phoenix, I'm sorry, the Penn Fathom with the low profile on one of them as well.
And you're using that for like the Assassin, like the 80?
Those I use. No, I throw the javelin on those, the 130 to 220. Yeah.
I'm still playing with all this. Like,
well, yeah.
The other day when we were out there doing that rockfish stuff, because I went after you the day after.
Well, we went together, and then you had to go in.
Right.
Yeah.
But that went a day after you caught your fish, and I was like taking a lot of what you were saying and watching and doing what you do, and I think it's so interesting about slow pitch jigging, how different you can make it your own.
Yeah.
And it all gets bit. It's just you have to be able to get confident enough to keep using it.
Correct. Yeah. So. I think that's one of the great things about it is there's not one way to fish it, right?
No.
And it could take on, and honestly, it takes on like the personality of the person. And you can, with the same jig, you can fish it crazy. You can jerk and reel on each one, and the fish it pops up. Or you can be slower; it'll work a different way. The same bait you can work like an infinite amount of times, really.
Right.
You don't even have to reel it. You can just do a long fall where you just lift, let it go, lift as high as you can, let it go, and you can stay in the exact same spot. It's really versatile for sure.
Yeah, I'm mind blown. Yeah. Some of the stuff, like the other day, I was watching my own reel because I wanted to learn how I did it wrong or how I did it right, and the way how far some of these fish will go up in the column to hit this
The
jig.
rockfish too, yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Because normally
crazy.
people put a bait and they sink it down the bottom.
And you just wait.
And you sit there
Yeah.
on the bottom and you're not going more than 10 feet off the bottom.
Yeah.
These freaking fish are going
Like
up 50 to
50
80 feet,
Yeah, it's true.
off the bottom to come and hit your jig.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow. I mean, and then in the fish, like a rockfish, the rockfish we're catching are 19,
Right.
21
They were
inches.
beasts, yeah.
But just saying, like, that's a long way to go for a fish that size to want to eat it. So you know that there's
Yeah.
something going on with that kind of thing, that motion, that technique,
Right.
that really sets it apart to drive that fish crazy enough to come up that high in the water column.
Yeah.
You only
It's
imagine what's
nuts.
going to happen to Yellowtail
Right.
season,
Yeah.
dude. They're going to
Yeah.
crush it.
Yeah, I still got to get a decent sized yellowtail on those, but normally
Me
it's
too.
like the ones, even the yellowfin I was catching on them. It's just toss it on a boat because they're at the surface and you let it flutter. It's just like you count to 10 and then bam, they're already on it. You know, they've come up and smoked it. It's crazy.
Is that trip that's coming up in September going to be a Yellowtail trip, or is it going to be a tuna trip? Like, what's going on with that?
So the trip, guys, that Kevin's talking about, for those of you guys that don't know, it's a good segue in. So we've got a Submission at Sea's coming up. So basically, we're running a trip. Submission Fishing's doing a trip. And is it all live, Jessica, right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Share the link in a second.
Jessica will share the link. Tickets are on sale now. Submissionfishing.com, same place we sell the jigs. We're going for a day on the Malahini, and it's going to be an all-day trip. Sunrise to sunset. Usually it's like it's a pretty long trip. And you're going to get jigs with that, some slow deck jigs. You're going to get, we're going to do a seminar. There's going to be giveaways. Probably going to give rods away. We've got we've got, we're going to do some raffles and stuff. So you'll get one raffle ticket with your thing. It'll include like a meal ticket and a drink. And so lots of it comes with it. You know, if you want to come on and drink 40 beers, I mean, you're on your own for that, but this might get you like one, you know. But you'll get a meal out of it and chances to win prizes. So I want it to just be an experience as well. It's not just like a trip where we're going out jigging, but yeah, and then a day of fishing is included. So it's $300 for a ticket, you guys. If you want to get on it, like they're on sale now, go to submissionfishing.com.
What's the size
And,
of the amount of people coming? What's the amount of...
I think we've got, so spots are limited. I think right now we've got like,
How many?
20 spots.
I think there's like
20
20
spots on the Malahini?
20 spots.
Whoa.
There'll be like 30
Oh,
total.
okay.
There's like 30 total, but I think we've got like only like 20 spots available. And we might release some more. Coming up, there'll probably be about 30 people on the boat. So
That's still nothing. That's
Yeah.
such a huge boat for that amount of
it
people.
it is a big boat. And Kevin's saying, are we fishing for this? So last year we went out that time. It's in September, so it's a good time. I would say probably we're hoping the yellowfin, right? That yellowfin Dorado season. That's usually what it is, and hopefully they come that close. And we do some patty hopping, even yellowtail as well. So obviously that's the target. He hasn't said whether like passports are needed.
It may not be.
I would say probably get one. If we're 12 miles off,
It might be in U.S. waters.
Yeah, you might not need one. And if they're close enough, we won't even go to Mexico. But just to be safe, I'd maybe make sure you have one by that time, just so because if it comes in and they're like, hey, dude, they're all biting by the islands or something, and we got to go in close. Do you guys have passports? It'd be nice to be like, yeah, we've all got passports. As far as I know, as of now, we don't need them. And he hasn't said we needed them, but it's a long time out. So things like that change and stuff on the boats as well. But it's a day fishing, and hopefully we get on some tuna and some Dorado and stuff like that. So you guys have the first crack at the submission at sea. That's what we're calling it. And I'll probably let it go for like a week. So you guys want to buy your tickets and stuff like that. If we don't sell them all, then I'll put it on Instagram and let everybody else have the first go out of it. But you guys got the first go. So if you want to join us, probably a lot of people from the chat here. So yeah, it'll be awesome. You guys get on there and fish with you guys. I think it'll be great. And hopefully we get hooked up. Everybody we're not sure if we're going to do like a no bait trip.
It's kind of a secret link right now because I have to add it to the menu. So the only place to get the link is in the chat right now.
The only place to get the link right now is that chat, the one that Jessica
It's
just
not live,
shared.
It's not findable on the website.
So it's not findable on the website
so
yet.
Secret for you guys.
So it's secret for you. So Jessica's telling me if you go on the site, you can't find it. So this link that she just sent in the chat, That'll take you to it, but it doesn't come up live on the page. That'll like send you to the cart or whatever it is. So,
Real secret.
So keep that
Private.
link. Yeah, it is private. So not everybody can get it, right? It's not a public thing yet. And obviously, if we don't sell out the tickets in like a week or so, we'll open it up to everybody else. But you guys, you get the first crack at it. So the date is September 24th. So it's we got time. I don't know. The tickets probably won't last that long, but we got time till we go out there. So a lot can change as far as what we're gonna fish for and stuff like that. Salty already booked. Captain Dan said he's in. Yeah, guys, I think it's gonna be freaking awesome. So that's live today. That's some good news, and I think it'll be a great time. If this works out, ultimately, I'd like to do a longer trip. Maybe next year or some other time we can do like a day and a half. But I know those are hard for some people. People got families and stuff like that, and.
What about a 9-day?
I do a 9-day.
Guadalupe fishing with slow pitch jigs.
Hell yeah. Woo. Let's see if we got some more questions here.
What was that trip Captain Bell did? It was 18 days or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's too many.
17 days too many.
Let's see here. How far out are the PL kelp beds?
No Point Loma.
How far out of the Point Loma kelp beds, and what's the setup for going out there? What's most often caught there? That's from Katsta GeoHow.
It depends on where you launch, but the real closest place for any kayaker to launch from is going to be, Shelter Island.
We went out of Mission Bay last year, right?
We
went south.
But that's a long run.
It? Yeah.
That's like a 12-mile pedal just one way, right? So that's if you get the right tide on the San Diego side,
when we went, I felt like if we went back north, it would have been shorter than... Or am I just imagining that?
Well, you're talking about a different part of the Point Loma kelp beds, because there's
maybe that's not Point Loma.
No, like the tip of it, like coming off of Point Loma, where Cabrillo Monument is, right? Like that is what I would consider the real Point Loma like kelp bed. It's the thickest
right,
there.
that makes sense.
It's very thick there, and it's very long, and it's got a lot of drop-offs to it. There is stuff like more towards like Sunset Cliffs, right? Like that's also part of the Point Loma kelp, but that has a totally different vibe to it. It's very flat. It doesn't have too many really deep drop-offs. I think there's the most well-known thing that's in the Point Loma kelp bed is the calicos. Like most people go there for calico bass, and it's very good. There's a ton of sheephead. There's white sea bass.
I go for the sheephead.
Like,
what about yellowtail?
There's sometimes yellows.
They'll come in.
There's just not enough people fishing it regularly enough to be able to tell you that there's yellows.
Right.
But they're not going to tell you because those people like what they like. There is yellows. It's just like they're not fished like La Jolla gets fished.
Right.
La Jolla gets beaten up.
So calicos for sure. Sheephead. I've even catch some rockfish there.
Rockfish.
Yeah. But you know what I was getting to was a perch, like the black perch.
Blacksmith.
Is that what those are?
Well, the one that looks like
they're flat.
Yeah, but they're dark.
Gray.
Blacksmith.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff eats those.
Yeah, I got quite a few of those last time we went out. It was pretty surprising. They were like just eating the normal bait
they're actually,
and they have little mouths, and they were eating like they were eating some big baits. I was like, dude,
there's tons of them in the water column, man.
That's crazy. Yeah.
They actually taste pretty good. Don't ask me how I know, but they taste pretty good deep fried. Just saying.
How do you know?
Do you eat them?
Probably ate them. I definitely have eaten them. I've eaten a lot of stuff out there just to try it. I have never eaten lizardfish.
What about a spotty?
I've eaten a spotty.
How was it?
I did not like it.
You
I've eaten
like
spot. No. I ate them enough times when I was younger to know that I just did not.
He's lying.
I didn't.
Spotty's the bomb.
Nope. I will eat a calico.
Spotty's not the bomb, but it's not bad.
No, it's definitely not the bomb. I didn't like it because I thought it was very tough. I thought it was.
Oh, interesting.
I thought it was chewy.
That's not good.
Yeah, it depends on how you cook it. Because if you do anything aside from deep fry that thing, it's to me it's just like nope.
Interesting.
I would rather eat a lizardfish than a spotty at this point, and I would try it. I would for sure eat a lizardfish over a spotty myself.
And one thing I always wanted to know was, as far as the yellowtail go, how come you think the big ones just come into La Jolla, and whenever I see like the yellowtail caught in La Jolla, I don't ever see like those little guys. Like it's always like
because they get
like 25 pounder or
they get eaten. Things
By
eat
what?
them in La
Like
Jolla.
sharks or
There's makos out there. There's threshers out there. There's black sea bass. Black sea bass love baby yellowtail.
oh, interesting.
Oh yeah, they love baby yellowtail.
And those are fish that you weren't because whenever I get the small ones, they're always like on the patties, right? It's like at least that's when I see them. Those little dinks, they always come off of patties. Not to say
That's
they're
the nursery.
Not to say they're not big ones there, but
That's the nursery.
Interesting.
They do come in from time to time, but they have to be in numbers to make sure
Right.
that if you sometimes they're really isolated. Sometimes they breed and the eggs get trapped in the kelp and they do grow. And sometimes you'll catch baby yellows in while you're catching max.
Oh, interesting.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
They come around your boat and they look just like a little mini yellowtail. They're all hot and fired up and
Yeah.
try to chase around your sabiki.
Because one thing I was reading, like I put this thing in the chat for you guys. It was the biologydictionary.net on the yellowtail, and it had a lot of useful information. And one of the things was like, it was saying the small ones school together and the big ones tend to school together, and they're not intermixed. Like the little ones aren't schooling with the big ones. It's like you got the small ones
And the big
and then
ones.
you got the big ones.
That's true.
Is it sort of like spotties where if you're catching dink yellowtail, just move on and look for the bigger? But they say the bigger schools aren't as big. They're thinner. Like they don't. The small ones run with like hundreds of them, and sometimes the big ones they can be like a dozen or less.
What you just said right there is mostly true. Very rarely will you find that where there's little ones, there's not also big ones. There's almost always going to be big ones where there's little ones because there's food there that they're both liking. So whether it's squid or it's it's max or anchovies, they want to eat. That what will matter is the frequency of the schools, because that will dictate how often you're going to get into a size range of fish. So if there's tons of fish out there, a big biomass, and the most of it's 25 pounders or less, all you're going to catch is mostly you're going to have an opportunity to catch 25 or less.
Right.
But if you have a lot less fish out there and it's just giants from 30 to 50 pound fish and there's not that many, you'll have a hard time catching fish. But the ones you hook are going to be freaking
beasts,
hogs. Like they're going to be giants. So
I feel like most fish are like that, right? Like even spotties, it's like we talked about it. When you find the dinks, it's like it's pretty much going to be all dinks. When you find the big ones, you're usually going to there was a study done on that where it's known that they do congregate based on size. Well, that seems to be, and even the tuna. When you find the donkeys, it's like the 200 pounders are running with other 200 pounders.
Yeah,
it's like that's interesting. That's just a fish thing, I guess. That's how the schools work.
I think it's I think it goes deeper and part of like a colony of fish. I think that these fish grow up together. I think they associate with each other quite a long time.
So they're born
at the same time, and they see each other over the years.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, socialing. They're socializing, right? Socialing is not a word, by the way, but they're socializing, they're interacting. You can't just think of a fish that dumb. Like they obviously know what they're doing. Right. They're out there in the ocean in their environment. So if they see their buddies from this time period, or they see them regularly, they mate with them, whatever it is. They interact with them. I think the spotties and largemouth bass and bluegill, I think all these fish, they see each other in a time period over their time, and they associate with themselves because they familiarize themselves with this size group of fish, right? It's not like, hey, you're my friend kind of thing. It's like, when I'm with these group of people or group of fish, I eat more. I have the ability to get into a place where and we work together better and we eat better.
Right.
So if they're not they gone somewhere else. I gotta go find my homies. Like, where'd they go? I'm not gonna stick with these little youngsters that are beating me all the time to the bait. Like they're not working with me. They're trying to do their own thing.
Right.
So.
And one thing I found interesting about the yellowtail too is that one of the good things is they're not endangered. They're on the least concern list. So one thing about yellowtail that we have here is they're great eating. You can eat them with sushi. They're delicious fish. That's why people get them and go after them. And they're a great sport fish.
And they grow fast.
And that was the point I was getting to. They grow and they mature fast. And there's a ton of them out there, which is great for the fishery. So it's not like whenever you're catching tuna and bluefins, more so like on the East Coast and stuff, like those giant bluefin, it's always like a point of contention because they're becoming rare. The yellowtail, it's like they don't really they're not a problem. They're in the least concern list. They're not having to be endangered, but their lifespan is actually short.
It's extremely short.
And I don't think a lot of people realize.
A 2-year-old yellowtail is between 15 and 20 pounds.
Yeah.
2 years old.
Yeah.
That's
you guys hear that?
Fast-growing fish.
And they die. I think it was in here. Like, their lifespan is 5 to 6 years.
12 maximum.
12 max.
Imagine it.
Yes.
Some of these things do get 12 years old.
Yeah.
They get big.
Yeah.
Some 60-pounders have been caught
But
before.
5 to 6, normally, yeah.
5 to
Spotties
6.
can live 30 years.
Right.
Sandbass can live 30 years.
That's why I like
halibut can live old too. But the yellowtail, they're gone. And, like, they don't live very long. So it's just interesting. They breed and they grow fast. They get big fast, and then they die. Yeah.
Yeah, they that's why they're so fun to catch, is because they're always eating. It's like Dorado.
It's like they know they're on borrowed time.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna eat all before we go.
Dorado's even crazier. They're like gone in 2 years.
Oh, that's
tops.
crazy.
Does that thing pull up? Does that thing do anything?
This is just
yellowtail.
I'm sure I could type in Dorado and it would find out.
It's like a 2-year lifespan max, and like if a 2-year-old Dorado, you'd be lucky to see it in your life. But it's like a 60 to 70 pound Dorado. It's a world record. It's a giant fish.
Yeah.
But you know, the other thing that's great about yellowtail is they breed once a year. And there's a lot of them, so you can have a huge number of babies every single year if they're not being pulled off of patties when they're young. So
I think this says relatively little is known about the reproduction behaviors. They're broadcast spawners, so that means that they just spawn in the open, with the males and females releasing their gametes into the water column where external fertilization occurs. During the spawning season, which occurs throughout the summer, females release up to 150 eggs. That time, approximately 100 of which are likely to be fertilized. And that's pretty good. So that's a pretty good rate. Younger females will only spawn once. Yeah, while older females capable of spawning multiple times a season.
So
they become mature 2 to 3 years.
I have some perspective on how I think they reproduce, because I've seen a lot of stuff out there that make me believe this one thing.
Because the scientists don't really know. There's not that many studies on it, and I think the fishermen know more probably, because like they're saying they don't know how the juveniles live, and I think they're out in patties. Like I don't see them really coastal. I don't see them coastal that much.
Yeah, they're not really in coastal stuff unless there's food, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that they reproduce like many other jacks in the jack family.
They're not a tuna?
They're not tuna.
I was joking.
Yellowtail tuna beer though is good.
Don't be the guy in the boat, guys. Right? You don't want to be shamed and call a yellowtail a tuna. Everybody's made the mistake. Newer fishermen, they often think that, but what are they?
They're a jack.
They're a jack.
Yeah. So jacks, like a GT, a giant trevally, a bluefin trevally,
pompano, even right?
Pompano. Yeah. What they do, if you watch enough National Geographic or like Planet Earth videos, you'll see these horse-eyed jacks. They're doing a tornado. Well, when they do a tornado, a lot of times when they're breeding, they'll tornado up, and one female breaks out, and all the males chase. She throws her eggs out into the ocean, basically turns over and sprays them out.
Right.
And then the males go around those eggs and they fertilize them as quick as possible, and they go back and they do it over and over again. I've seen yellowtail many, many, many times doing tornadoes out there.
Interesting.
They tornado a lot. They just go like this.
That's so weird.
Yep. And they do the same similar thing that I've seen. Yeah, they are related to amberjack. It's the same family. So.
Yeah. Well, they're the same fish too, right? Like. There's this whole debate, like, because the yellowtail, I was looking at this, is the species is like the.
That's not the. Oh, there it is. Seriolanda.
It's the Lalandi is the.
Lalanda, yeah. Seriola Lalanda.
But then they're saying that there's, right, the one in. This is the northern hemisphere. Then there's the one in the southern waters, which looks the same, but they say is a different. I had a different one pulled up on it, but
yeah,
there's some debate about. Some people think they are the same.
People think that
the
fish in Guadalupe are different.
Right.
People think that the fish in New Zealand are different.
Right.
But you look at the fish.
Some people say they're the same. Right.
You look at the fish, you're like, dude, that's the same freaking fish. Yeah. Like, there's no difference.
Yeah. There's been debate about that for sure.
It's all food related.
Yeah.
Because in New Zealand they use kahawai, which is they call it a salmon. The thing is like 2 to 3 pounds. That's what they eat. So yellowtail has access to this 2 to 3 pound, regular, like tons of schools of these. They can smash them and get into 90 to 80 to 100 pound yellowtail. In Guadalupe, There's huge food there. They have like this ridiculous mackerel. They have bullet mackerel. They got flying fish. They got giant squid.
That's crazy.
They got all sorts of crazy stuff down there. Other whitefish. They eat whitefish down there. Those fish aren't picky. So
yeah, when I was looking up Yellowtail, so yeah, it was crazy how like the debate over like what was what.
It's probably
it was interesting. Yeah, because some had a different like genus and species thing, but you couldn't tell them apart. When I saw, I'm like, I don't know.
They probably taste the same too, except maybe a little chewier,
probably
a little older. I wonder how big those 90-pounders are down in New Zealand.
Right. Brian likes to fish. Said group trip to Florida. I know a guy who has a house. Yeah, dude, Brian. Whenever you guys are ready to go,
Redfish.
If you guys want to go, we can go. I'll be out in Florida next week. But yeah, I got a place out there. I got 3 bedrooms.
Are you gonna bring a 20-gram with you?
It's got bunk beds. No, I'm not gonna lose that thing. We're gonna go. I told the captain I'm gonna go fishing out there, but I told him I want to do some jigging. He's gonna put us on a reef. So
assassin jigs.
Yeah.
Is it snapper season over there? Red snapper season.
Yeah.
Red snapper season.
Yeah. And then,
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh dude.
I'm throwing a javelin for sure.
Have you ever hooked a red snapper?
No.
Oh god, be ready, dude.
But they look awesome though. They look awesome.
They fight so hard.
I'm excited.
They are very cool fish.
They got like the cobia.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff out there.
Yeah, grouper. They have groupers.
Yeah, you can get the Goliath grouper now, but I don't have the
tag.
The tag.
That's new though.
To get it.
I don't know if that's already in place or not. They just opened that tag up like 2 to 3 weeks ago, from what I understand.
Yeah. That's crazy. I should have went in the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do we know? There's schooling fish. There's leaf concern. There's age. Is there anything else?
People probably don't know how much food they'll eat and what kind of food. They eat
the yellowtail.
Yeah, they'll eat red crabs. They eat whitefish. They eat blacksmith perch. They eat
squid.
They eat they really like squid. They eat all the mackerels, all the smelt, all the different everything that's like a regular bait fish. They'll eat lizard fish. They eat rockfish.
Oh wow. So they're not picky.
They will eat anything that they can put their mouth on that's above them. Like they don't really come down for anything, but they'll eat up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they like to eat up.
Yeah, you can see they have the upturned mouth, which is different. Like in Florida, like the redfish and the drum, their mouth is downturned, and a lot of times they go up and they come down to eat. So like they'll see a jig, but then they go above it and then they'll come down to eat it. Like they can't really eat it going up because they can't see or something like that. It's
when I fish topwater for these things for redfish, they'll eat a spook, right? So you're walking the dog on the surface, and then the reds will come up behind it, and you'll see the head torpedo up. Like you'll see the water pushing off its head, and then they come up. And their eyeballs clear the water, and then they have to open it up and suck, or they smash their head down onto it because they can't.
Yeah, their mouth.
They can't really They have to kind of guess where their head's gonna land.
It's crazy.
They're pretty cool though.
They still go after it. Let's see, what do we have here?
Brian says.
How are you fishing a 20 gram off the docks? Do you control the fall? No. Just let it fly, man.
I shared the video.
If your dock is like 30 feet or less, just let that thing flutter the whole way down, dude. Don't worry about tension fall or anything. That's one of the few times where you're gonna let like a jig like that just let it flutter, let it do its thing.
I really want one of those 20-gram jigs that Brian has.
I was like, are you bragging or selling?
I saw that.
Yeah. Dude, Brian, you're like, you got 20-gram jigs?
Dave Rach just found 2.
I'm just saying, you could probably sell those for like a lot of money right now. You can scalp those things. So if you're not
ask the judge how much I paid him for one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
No.
Just found 20-gram slow death stashed away.
I paid $20 for one of those jigs.
Oh, dude.
It's like, you know how
Dave Rage got some too.
I saw that. Dave's a nicer guy than Brian, so maybe I'll go and
Brian will
hit up Dave.
He's not going to let you have them.
Wow.
How many does Dario have?
Salty's got some too.
I have one, man.
You had a lot. So
I know.
It's not like you didn't get any.
I swear to you guys, I literally had my last strawberries and cream. I broke off the eye from hitting so many docks over the time.
How many fish do you think you caught on that?
100 plus fish. Because I went through the WTF tournament using strictly that jig for probably 65 fish. I'm not being sorry. I caught 55. So like 50 of my fish were on that jig. That one jig. So that was just like the second half
that
of
was
its
the sumo.
life. I've used that for 2 tournaments. Yeah. That was the sumo 20 gram and the strawberry cream.
For the reigning champion, guys.
Oh, it looks like Salty and Brian want to make
the sumo.
Deal.
Yeah, 5 jigs.
Ooh, that might actually be worth it.
Salty,
dude, that's a deal.
That's an $800 trip.
Hey, man.
Because the gas is like crazy right now.
Jigs are jigs. If you can't find them, well, it won't be that long. We're gonna get a bunch coming in, and then
they're going in shops.
Hopefully, yeah.
We gotta get them in the shops.
Salty wants to know how many you want for a guided trip to La Jolla.
Oh, there you go. That's cheaper. Sorry, Brian. We ain't doing no $800 bluefin trip.
Wow, might have to be DMing you over there,
Salty. I feel like that might be a good trade.
I really like. I have.
Look at this. Okay, this is what you do. Take Dario and Salty out. Do a group, 20 grams. Get like a few from each, and just go show them the ropes. That's not a bad deal.
Is anyone else having this problem out there with 20 gram jigs?
Yeah,
like,
dude, I get the DM. I was telling you, I get DMs all the time where people are like, "Where are the 20 grams? When are the 20 grams coming back?"
Can I tell you my story about 20 gram jigs?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because I don't know if many people like know why I'm talking about them so much right now. I have been fishing ever since Muto. I bought my first round from Muto before I even got offered the rep position with submission. Okay, so do I still have that position?
We'll see if it's after.
Okay. So I bought my jigs. I was a very bad dock fisherman. Guaranteed. Not even in
the grass.
No, yeah, I was a grass guy. Like I was gonna go and fish grass. When these guys are putting up numbers above 70 inches regularly in the past, you're like, you have to notice what's going on. And I just one day I did this live stream. I was gonna do a product promotion video. I literally went out it's on my Instagram, like fishing rep. You can go watch me the first time I ever learned how to do this. I went out there with 2 jigs. The strawberries and cream and the confetti. The confetti is the first one I timed on. Yeah. I freaking put that thing down. It might have been 2 drops before I got bit by a 15. And I was like, whoa. And I didn't even do anything, which was the craziest thing. That's how I learned. I was watching your videos and I was like, you're just putting it down there and you're bit. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. So I tried putting it up against the dock, put it against the piling, whatever. I did my little thing, and then I was bit. And so for that stream, I had like on that day,
you got like 9 fish.
No,
like
on camera.
When you cameraed
on camera, yeah. I think at least 9, but no, it was more than that. It was like 15 or something.
Because you went live after you already caught some though, and then you were like, "Dude, I gotta."
I had a good day. Yeah. It was a good way to like just find out what it was like.
Right.
Ever since that day. I'm fishing for those big ones, and then if I go on, I'm totally blowing my cover here on what I'm using. I mean, I tell people what I'm using.
Dude, I've got videos of it.
I tell people what I'm using too. I post on Instagram. It's like, how can you get away?
Right, you showed on Instagram with the bait in the mouth.
Yeah, like come on. But literally, the 20 gram sumo is the greatest dock bait I have, and I don't have a lot to say about that. Right. So I could tell you it's the greatest dock bait I have ever seen.
That's crazy.
And I told you that before.
Yeah,
and I'm not messing around. Like it is. I can't understate how much I'm literally going out there. I'm getting into the top, 2. I'm, winning a team tournament. Stuff that I'd really thought I would have a struggle with getting into this because I was used to getting 14 and a half, maybe a 16 on occasion through grass.
Right.
Never getting this quality on this 20 grams.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
A lot of it's the docks because they live at the docks. Then they move out later. But knowing how to get them at the docks is a different story. Like you're saying.
But you don't need to learn. It's not that hard.
No, it's not.
It's really not that hard. Down. It's the jig. It's the jig that I really believe that sumo jig is really different from anything else out there. The hooks are great. I put super glue on my threads because I don't want them to pull off. That's just my own thing. I have beaten up some fish on that jig. Yeah. I just will not. I have a problem leaving a dock and fishing a spotty tournament without a 20 gram sumo jig.
Right.
I have a problem.
That's funny.
So, and
like,
you know
yeah,
it because
yeah.
I come to you
He
to
does.
tell you. I'm like, hey, I need to get a 20-gram jig.
Kevin's like a crackhead. He's like, hey, dude, you got any 20 grams? Yeah. I've been finding some too, and I've been giving them to you, the ones that I have, but it's like...
I'm down to my last one.
What's funny was because Kevin, like, he didn't want me to... I'm like, we got this thing together. He's like, he reps a bunch of fishing companies, and we're like talking about doing the jigs, right? And it was like, he wasn't on board with the 20 grams. He's like, we need the tuna jigs. I'm like, dude, we need to buy more 20s. He's like, forget the light stuff, forget the 20s. And then he went out and fished them and was like, dude, we need 20 grams. I was like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I was gonna order a bunch more, and I was like,
we got a lot coming. We have so much future. You have so much future ahead of yourselves. Like, there's so many pieces. There's so many opportunities. I have to try the 40 gram and 60 gram.
40 gram works, dude. The 40 gram works. Like,
I really have to figure that out. I feel like it's definitely a different. I think it's a different jig.
Look at Brian. He's a masochist. I want to be there when he loses the last one. Damn, cold blooded.
Other people hurt.
Brian's cold blooded.
Yeah.
Do you think we can catch a? Yellowtail on a 20 gram jig?
Oh yeah. On a patty? Of course.
So?
It might be even the way to go sometimes.
You think we might upsize the hooks?
Those hooks are pretty big, and they're pretty good on 20 grams. I'll be honest with you. Like, you'd probably be able to pull on a decent-sized yellowtail and dorado with those hooks.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as your line was heavy enough, I think so.
I think you'll be fine.
Do you add a swivel to the 20 grams? Sometimes, a little teeny tiny ones, I'll do swivel to clip, but lately I haven't been doing the swivel. I just been going straight clip. How about you?
I am so novice to this dock stuff. I tie the eye of the sumo jig.
No clip.
No clip. No nothing. I go right. Yeah. I tied my mono straight up to the eye of the bait. Yeah. Leave my hooks dangling free. I'm not putting them on the ring. All I want out of that jig is I really want the hooks to be as free as possible.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want that hook to move a ton when it's coming up and down through the water column. But I see the benefit in the clip, except that I'll lose the clip.
The clip is awesome.
I'm gonna lose a clip every time I fish a 20 gram. I'm gonna lose the clip with
clips
it.
Clips don't cost anything.
Yeah.
Max Kim, any plans on a jig head? No, not necessarily. I think there's a market already for that. I don't think I could add anything to the jig head game. The whole reason I started doing the jigs is because it's like an underserved market here.
Definitely.
In Southern California, and
100%.
I couldn't find what I wanted, so I just started making my own. I feel like I just don't think I can bring anything that's like hasn't been done to the jig heads. If I can think of something that's like revolutionary, yeah. I feel like it's out there. I feel like that's covered. Like so many people, it's sort of like it's like swim baits, right? Like or tube baits. Forget everybody makes it tube bait. There's no need to bring like another tube bait or something into the market. And I feel like jig heads are kind of that way too.
I think that the 20 gram size or even smaller and the 40 to 60 gram slow pitch jigs are just something you're not really seeing out there a lot, and no one's really fishing and applying them in a certain way,
Right.
So what I think is really very fascinating about this is that, you would call it a slow pitch jig, but when you're going up to a dock and you're fishing in less than 20 feet of water, to me, that fish is not reacting like a fish in 120 feet of water.
Right. Yeah,
it's doing something way different.
It's different. I call it like pitching the docks. I'm going to go pitch the docks.
Pitch the docks.
Because you're not... You do work it a little bit, and you get bit on the pop.
Yes,
and it's basically... You're pitching... It is, actually. But it's not like... It's not a traditional where you're getting it down into a zone and then you're working it right. You're just laying it on the bottom and then lifting it up.
Yeah, it's a very unique thing. I think you've got the 20 gram and the 40 gram. Those size jigs are just so unique, and the shape of these things are so unique. It's just why break something that's already working so good,
Right. That's good stuff.
Okay. Now, I think you should take a poll on here while you got this many people on the stream, just real quick. I'm not telling you to do your stream, but I'd like to know how many people are doing...
He's telling me how to do this.
How many people are doing spinning reel, and how many are doing a bait casting reel for SPJs with the Sumos? 20 gram.
Interesting. So, yeah, you guys I'll do a poll maybe on the YouTube too, but... So how many of you guys are using type either spinning or bait casting? So what are you using for your light stuff? Dario, plans for it. Yeah, we were just talking about this. So I was making, you guys know I gave some of you guys 15 and 20 grams that we were testing, but I think we're going to just try to do like the Sumo and the Assassin in like a 10 or 15. Or maybe even just like I was thinking like a 12. Like a 12.5. So it's like we don't need the 10 or the 15, but like just that middle.
10 is tiny.
Yeah.
The thing is going to look literally half the size of a 20.
15 is like close to 20, but I feel like that 12, if I can get like a 12 made, I think that'd be pretty cool. Like a 12.5 or a 12 gram jig. I think that would be like perfect.
Especially when they're in real shallow water. I think that 20 and like anything less than 10 feet can be tough sometimes, but it gets bit still. It gets bit still.
Yeah.
How many? So there's quite a bit here. We're gonna have to take.
Yeah.
Are you telling it?
I think so.
Oh yeah.
We're getting we got Jessica. She's working.
The producer over there.
She's writing it down.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm not useless, you guys.
No, you're definitely not. You kill it. You make this run. You make the run.
I see the usual suspects. It's a good mix.
Caster, 3 for spinning. Some people are like, "We'll use both."
It seems like there's more people talk.
5 for bait caster. How many for spinning?
3.
3 for spinning.
And then some people use both, but they prefer the bait caster.
Yeah. I think that's normal. Most people are using the bait caster.
Interesting.
Try the spinning, guys.
Aaron says I need more camera time.
Does she? She doesn't get any camera time. Maybe that's why she needs more. Interesting. So you guys are lots of bait casting.
Lots of bait casting. Yeah. Interesting.
We're gonna have to do the definitive video.
Of what versus?
Yeah.
With who? Yourself? How are you gonna verse that?
I feel like when you play chess against.
Like, cause I'll fish like 10 docks bait caster, 10 docks spinning, same jig.
What if that other dock has more fish loaded up on it?
It's hard to judge.
There's no way you can do that without having some kind of like unbiased data.
Both get big. I used the bait caster for a long time. That was my go-to. So it gets bit. The bait caster gets bit. But I went to spinning, and I think spinning's better for the smaller jigs.
Guy.
He's a spinning.
I'm a spinning guy.
The champ, guys.
I'm not the champ. Brian is the champ.
He's the tag team. No, the
tag team. I wish I had
how many fish? 50 fish.
No, I had 55.
55
and
fish.
And I'll tell you, I will say, looking back, I think I said 50 fish, but I'm solid. It's a solid 45 on the SPJ. Just spotties in one day.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. 7 spinning so far.
Iron fish is
for flip flops
for 20 gram jigs. You use spinning reel or bait caster. That was the question. So what are we at?
If I'm right, I think we're 7 for spinning.
7 for spinning.
8 for spinning and
8 for spinning.
6 for bait.
6 for bait. Ooh. You guys, you changed your answers.
Yeah.
Once you guys heard Kevin, he was like, "I do spinning." Like, oh, I do spinning too.
No.
So 2, 4, 6.
See Samurai said, or dude, what's going on, dude? 27246. See Samurai got my first yellowtail. Been hooked since.
Yeah, man.
Awesome, dude.
I've had it.
Congratulations. Where'd you get it, on a kayak or boat?
Well, it's on a kayak because it's with me.
Oh, he was with you.
Yeah, that's my client.
Oh, I didn't know that. Welcome to the show. Glad you can join us.
Yeah, I've had I've had some fond memories with a lot of good people over the years. I gotta say.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Kayak in La Jolla. See.
Salty says when you were using a bait caster, you were regularly winning spotty bowl.
That's true.
Who?
Salty said when I was using a bait caster, I was regularly.
What is Salty?
No, when I was winning, I was using a bait. That's not true because I did switch. You know what, Salty? I started throwing smaller jigs with the spinning reel. So that's not actually not true.
This is a bait caster.
That is not true. I use both. And
so
also this spotty bowl, I have only fished slow death jigs. I have not fished anything else. So I've taken that whole other just because I want to fish my product, and it's like it helps me with the resource and R&D and all that stuff. So I haven't bought even last spotty bowl. I'd throw an A-rig or underspin. I'd try other stuff too, even though primarily I was using the jigs. But now it's like, dude, that's all I'm fishing is just straight jigs. So it's a little bit limiting, right? It's not like the There's no one bait that does it all.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I hate to overhype it, but man, it
does pretty good.
Yeah. That's all I've been using for. Well, not all I've been using, but I would say anytime I'm gonna go to dock, the only thing I'm using is a 20-gram sumo, or if I'm gonna be trying the 40-gram assassin soon.
No cool bait side pot. I think for what there is a cool bait side pot for spotty bowl. I think the biggest fish or heaviest fish on the cool baits.
Yeah. I think we're at 8 and 8.
8 and 8, guys. It sounds like it's tied.
Yeah.
Even split. That's good. Ultimately, it's whatever you get bid on, right? Like, if you're comfortable with one or you're getting fish, like, no, don't change it up.
I would say that there's a time and place for both. Yeah. And if you're getting your butt just handed to you, it might be time for a bait caster.
Yeah, if like you're getting monster fish, yeah. It is hard sometimes to horse up those beasts on the spinning. That is the only downside.
Oh, Brian's rubbing it in here.
Biggest bass. No, I think that's his cool bait side pot.
Oh, okay. Rubbing it in, champ. That was a crazy limit.
Yeah. Dude.
Was that the biggest one ever?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest.
Someone's going to get an 80 this year.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about a side pot for submission? Yeah, there is one. Biggest fish on submission jig. There is a pot for that.
Longest.
Yeah, this one's longest. Yeah. Brian likes them heavy. I like them long.
I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to pretend like I didn't hear that.
Have you used... Yeah, dude. It works. We use the 20-gram Susan at the dock at night, yeah.
I have... How often do you get bit on the SPJ at night on docks?
I don't fish nights that much, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not really a night fisherman, but the few times I have, like, I got a 15-incher in Dana. I was just,
like pitch black?
I was coming in and it was dark, yeah, and it was like I just tossed it on the corner and took me for a ride, and it was like it was a 15 plus.
Which color?
I think it was the blue and glow. Yeah.
I don't know that.
But they'll eat it.
The only color I never did get bit on because I lost the jig in like maybe 2 drops. No, I'm just gonna admit to you
is the blue.
Nope, is the sunrise one.
Oh, dude, that one's so good.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Dude.
I know where it is too. I could go. I could totally swim for that one.
I
actually could. I'm really tempted to go.
Yeah, they eat it at night. I mean, it's like any other bait. They see it as well as any other one. Plus, you could hit it with a flashlight and put the glow on it if you want it.
No, I did not get my phone back. I had to buy one.
Oh shit.
You want to hear that story?
Yeah.
Do we have time for that?
For what story?
What happened at WTF?
What happened at WTF?
When I lost my phone?
Oh. You guys want to hear more stories, or you guys got to go?
If 2 people say they want to hear a story.
If 2 people hear they want to hear the story, we'll hear the story.
These people would literally sit here until tomorrow if you let them.
I don't know. I'm not seeing any answers. You can tell the story. If they want to leave, they can leave.
All right.
There you go. You got 3 people.
All right, they're open. All
right,
they want more. They want more.
So I had my partner Lane, and we were.
This is for
the WTF League, the World Tag Team Fishing League.
It's a fishing tournament where it's teams
with TB Metal Art's first ever belts that I have, but I was been on the road the last couple of days, so I didn't bring it. I really should have brought it around, but anyways. So I was down a dock lane. I went down this one that was pretty far back there. So I was down there. I caught a fish. I took a picture. I had the pocket of my PFD open, and I put my phone in it, right? So I could like just get in and out.
Right.
So I pulled it out so many times in the morning. We were already up to like 42 fish or something when this happened. Anyways, I pushed off the dock literally like this. I just pushed myself off, and I just see it slow motion, and it goes, doom, like you know the Lord of the Rings when the ring's falling down that thing, doom, doom. And I just watch them like, oh, and it splashes, and it does the whole thing. I dive in. I've done this a handful of times, and I've actually recovered my phone because I know how to do it now. Like if I'm quick enough,
you can get it.
I can go. You just can't stop. You just can't hesitate. You literally have to go. So I literally just saw it, and I was like, boom, go in. And I'm right next to a dock, remember that, with like $1 million yachts right there. And I swam down. I bobbled it twice, and my contacts were starting to get foggy. So I was like, "Oh crap, I'm gonna lose my contacts." So I had to come up, and I already knew I was done. I come up, everything. I'm just soaking wet. I just literally I went from 0 to 100 in like 3 seconds. This guy is standing right next to the dock. He looks down. He goes, "Hey man, are you okay?" Because he had no idea.
He just thought you fell in.
He just thought I was like having a problem. So he asked me how I'm doing. He's a guy like some boat, one of the dock managers.
That's so funny.
I come up and my whole I have a bunch of gashes right here.
Oh,
you see that?
Yeah.
So I kick down. I try to push down to get deeper on the docks, and they're loaded with oysters and mussels.
Right.
I had major cuts on my back of my feet, on my foot. I come up and my whole inside of my boat's bloody. Aww. So I'm like, dude, this sucks so bad. So I push myself out, super bummed. I look for Lane. I'm like, and I see him coming over. I'm like, hey man, we got a problem. You're like, what? And he like looks at me. He's got this face. He's like he turns kind of wild. I'm like, I just lost my phone. He's like, because we were winning a tournament by a lot. And he's like, no, that's the worst right now. So we had to go around with each other and fish next to each other the entire rest of the time.
So when did you lose your phone? Like early?
Yeah, 10:30, 10, 11, something like that.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those fish didn't count.
Oh, they counted because they were submitted on Discord.
Oh,
I submitted every fish before that. I will not be a sandbagger.
Guys, that's a pro tip. So
tip.
When we do these tournaments online, guys, a lot of times you can either I usually post them at the end because it's just I don't like stopping to post them. I like taking like a half an hour at the end of the day and just like putting them in. But Kevin a lot of people post them as you go, and in this case. So this happened to me last year when I did a tournament. I lost my phone and I had 2 fish on it.
The winning fish.
No, they weren't the winning fish. I ended up winning that tournament, but I lost, I think 2 fish on my pictures. So I had to start from scratch. I had a spare phone on me, but my phone went flying in the water and I had fish pictures on it. I was like, no. So I had to start over. I had to start from scratch.
And you didn't even jump in after.
I didn't jump in after the phone. I just pulled out my backup phone.
Committed.
But.
Some people are not meant to commit like that.
So if you do put in your fish right away, I lost 2 phones. You're gonna lose a phone. I mean, I tether it now. Obviously,
I need to tether mine immediately.
I've got one of those things where it clips to my vest. Yeah, after losing 2 phones, I finally.
I had this discussion. I had this question. I talked to one of the guys at Fast. I'm like, how many millions, billions of dollars in phones are there down at the bottom of lakes and oceans and rivers?
I can tell you how many people in here have lost phones.
Really, in here?
So many of these guys have lost phones. It's all of us. Salty, I know, has lost one. Zach Riggs, I think. I've lost 2.
That's why I don't own an iPhone. Yeah. That's why I don't own an iPhone.
Get the insurance. It's not that bad. So did you get the phone back?
I did not. And then
phone.
Okay, I'm not.
You couldn't see it? Was it? Because I saw you.
Check this out. I waited around. I called up. Well, I had Lane call up my friend down in San Diego. His name's Callum.
This guy, Todd. This guy has the backup phone.
I
had 2 phones.
You're onto something there. Yeah. I might need a plan to have like 15 phones.
And guess what? I won that first place because I had a backup phone.
Which
San Diego Bay.
San Diego Bay.
Yeah. And if I didn't, I would have had to just gone in, and that would have been the day. So. Bring 2 phones when you fish, guys.
You got to bring 2 phones or a camera.
You got to bring 2 phones.
Go run home and dump all your phones or something, or all your whatever.
So somebody brought you a snorkel mask thing, right?
No, they didn't bring. Well,
you had one.
I asked. No. Well, I asked. I went down the dock. I said, "Hey, I saw this one guy. He was working this boat operation, a rental boat, small boat, not a big one, right?" I said, "Hey, you wouldn't happen to have a snorkel and mask with you? Mind you, I'm soaking wet." I have blood gushing in this kayak. He's looking at me. He's like, yeah, I think we actually do. And I'm like, no way. I went diving for a half an hour plus.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and actually, it's very interesting what's down there. If you want an inside scoop on what's down there below the docks, it might be some good info right now, but...
Andre knows. Yeah, it's on video.
It's on video?
Yeah. It's on one of it's like... And I do a slow motion where I do the bobble, and then it hits my
rail,
hits my trough, and then goes flying off.
He just looks up and goes, "Well, that happened."
It's the worst feeling in the middle of a tournament. Yeah. It really sucks, because it's like you're stalled. You're like, okay, I'm really screwed right now. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
So I won't ever make that mistake. I'm going to put a lanyard on. For sure.
It could cost you.
So down there.
But you won too. And there's something to losing the phone, guys. We always talk about bad luck in fishing. I think good luck is losing the phone.
Why?
Because you won that tournament too. And you lost the phone.
Well, so I think it's a blessing because I was able to really connect with Lane and we were fishing together. We just had a good time. Like, honestly, we didn't. Does it sound messed up to say that we didn't even try as hard as we wanted to? Is that messed up? I'm sorry.
Just tell them they suck.
No.
Be like, hey, you guys suck.
Will Smith style. Boom. So we kind of went and explored in some different parts of that area.
Nice. So you were hitting places probably a lot of people weren't fishing.
Never. I don't think.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think people ever.
And you were finding them.
Yeah. Big ones.
Awesome.
So we found some stuff, and the really cool thing about that tournament structure is that you're forced to stay in that spot. You can't go out of it.
Yeah.
So you learn every spot in the spot, and we know our spots now.
That's awesome.
I fished. We went around that place at least 7 times.
Yeah, it's small. It's not that big.
Because the fish they're recycling in there. They're coming back around the docks.
They calm down. You go back to them.
They're always around. They're not just disappearing and go. There's millions of fish in there. It's just they have waves of biting times. Like they're not always wanting to go. So, underneath the docks is a trip. By the way, telling you from my dive down there.
I've heard that. Roman's talked about that too, where he's gone diving, and it's like you get a different perspective on the fish.
Lots of weird stuff. There's lobster cages down there with no ropes and no tethers. So when you hook something randomly on the bottom, it could be a lobster pot. It could be a crab pot, illegal ones. There's tons and tons of mussel beds and clam shells. There's anchors, there's live bait receivers. And these are all like things that sunk, not attached.
Right.
So
they just went down.
The mud is very soft, and then there you can see all the holes from all the clams.
Interesting.
All the stuff that lives down there. The other thing that's really interesting is the thermocline. So if you don't know what that's about, water stacks up differently based on temperature separation. In saltwater, denser, colder water, which has more salinity, sinks. Warmer water will stay above. So there's a period, there's a place in the water column where it gets hot, and then it stops, and it's freezing cold.
Interesting. And there's like a barrier.
There's a barrier. So these spotties, this day that we were fishing, they were right on the thermocline because I felt it. I knew exactly. It was like 15 feet. And it was ice cold at 20, and that's why I couldn't do it any longer. Because I was freezing my butt off down there. It was like 55 to 50 degrees down there.
It's really cold.
It was, and the fish were there too, but there weren't as much. So the fish wanted to move into its warm water.
Interesting. Right. Did you see any other phones down there?
No. I would have picked one up. Trust me, for a trade-in at the very least.
What was the biggest fish you caught?
That thing that during the tournament? Oh, I think I actually did.
I don't know. I don't know what the biggest fish was in general.
Well, it was like a cuda or something like that. It wasn't just exclusively.
Oh yeah, because it's not always spotties, right? That's right.
Yeah, it's an incidental catch. So
that's right. Yeah, I don't know what the biggest spotty was.
No, the halibut was the biggest one. Was
Judge.
Yeah,
I guess it was the halibut.
No, because we had some barracuda. But maybe that was the biggest thing caught. I'm pretty sure that was.
Yeah, illegal halibut. I mean, it had to have been over 22 inches.
It was a 26-inch halibut because I think he told us it was 26.
That's pretty good.
But I think the biggest one we caught was 15 and a half. Well, I lost a hog. I keep telling you about it. I mean, I lost probably my personal best.
It's always the hog.
I'm telling you. That was the biggest one I ever hooked, dude.
It was a $10,000 fish.
I like this idea.
Well,
bring a cheaper phone idea. Phone.
Yeah, that's why I had the two phones. I know Todd was giving me a hard time about who has a backup phone. One of the reasons was because I have a really expensive phone, right? I got like the Galaxy Note or whatever. It was like $1,000 phone. So I keep it with me because people need to call me and stuff. But I had a spare phone. I think it was my old phone. And we had an extra line. Like my company had an extra line. And But that's why I was using the crappier phone to take pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's the one I had in case I lost it.
It's still a Galaxy, but
It was still a Galaxy. It was like a Galaxy 8, just it wasn't as nice as this one. So that's why
Still like a $800
that's the phone I use when I'm out on the kayak, so I didn't beat up my other one. So when I lost that one, I had my main phone, and it was like my main phone I didn't want to lose, but I was using my less expensive phone as I call it my fish phone. So that's the one I use, so I don't. And I have another fish phone that I use, which is like a cheaper phone, and that's my primary one. That I'm like.
You could actually probably get away with this even cheaper by getting a really burner phone from Walmart.
Yeah.
And then using your hotspot on your real phone and putting it in the center of your kayak.
I think you could, yeah.
Because that you get your Wi-Fi network, and you could get a $20 phone. Takes okay pictures too.
Yeah.
Use Discord and you can connect it to Wi-Fi with your phone.
For sure.
If you lose that phone, shoot.
That's a great idea.
I'm probably end up going to do that. Even I have a spare phone.
Even the cheap phones have decent cameras. The technology's so good. It's like you don't even need like
for Discord, right? It's not like you just gotta make sure your Sharpie marks are on.
Plus, if you have a crappy camera, it's harder to see. It's harder to judge.
Wow.
Trust me, it's better. It's better for you.
This guy, no mulligans. This guy here.
I'm never living down the time I got called out for an open mouth, and I was like,
was it barely?
He didn't.
Yeah, I'm saying it was like
for hours.
I didn't let it go for hours. It was like
Judge.
He must have like zoomed in. I'm like.
He came up and complained to me. I'm like, I don't really know.
This is where, right? They think that 100 megapixel camera is good. Like, no, it's not good for a fishing tournament. It just gets you like they just nitpick it. I was like, if we took that like 720p, you would have never known. You'd be like, oh yeah, that mouth's closed. That's a 14-inch fish. Be like, oh no, 2-point deduction because the mouth is open. It's like you could not fit a credit card in this fish's mouth. Seriously, that's like. Never
the
again.
Judge is strict, man.
Now Eric gets low-res photos.
That's so funny.
What about using a GoPro and then submitting it?
I did that.
Yeah?
I did. So, he's asking about our GoPro. So, what happened was, during the Species tournament, I lost a second phone. This one was on a boat.
Oh, wow.
It fell out of my pocket.
Did you jump in after it? No.
And this was my expensive phone. But before it fell out, I didn't know what happened. I like leaned against the rail. I was wearing these stupid like Columbia pants, and the pockets were like this big. And I had leaned on the rail, and it pushed the phone out.
Oh.
And I was fishing, and it hit the water, and I noticed it, but I didn't really register. And I watched it flutter down. I was like, oh no, that was my phone. But then I used my GoPro was recording, so I took snapshots with my hand in the GoPro, and then submitted the pictures later for the Species challenge.
So you
wow.
Wear a GoPro
So it was
as a backup too.
Yeah, so I was taking pictures with the.
Oh, and then just say Google or GoPro take a picture or something.
Yeah,
You just put it in photo mode. So I was taking pictures with the GoPro, and then later I came home, uploaded them to the computer, and then sent them to Discord. Because that one there's no like time limit, right? It was kind of open. So you got to be creative.
Guess what? I lost my phone. I was like, you are kidding me.
I did lose.
Look at how many people lost phones.
Everybody loses phones.
Everyone's carrying spares now too. I'm gonna start doing that.
Look at that. I'm not the only one with the burner.
How does a brick even take a photo though? Oh, to knock out my keeper.
That's funny.
It's pretty funny. Yeah, dude, Judge, he does use the Hubble. NASA needs to hire Eric.
Start looking
that
for
dude,
stars.
He'll find like the stars that are outside this galaxy.
He's gonna start looking at the edge of the universe.
Let me see. Yeah, there's like a whole nother. There's a whole nother universe out here past the Milky Way.
Yeah.
Hey, where'd you come? Where'd you get your degree? He's like, oh, I was a fishing judge.
That's so funny.
You can also swap out the SIM card. Yeah, that's true.
SIM card, but like,
what
do you mean to a different phone? Oh, okay, I see it.
I was on FaceTime. That would have been hilarious.
Oh.
Losing your phone on FaceTime. Well, I lost mine's on YouTube. Everybody could see it. I left it in. I thought it was some comedy. But yeah, losing on video, it's for everybody's enjoyment. At least the suffering is like, you get some views for it, I guess. Magnetic phone case. I just used the one of the bungees, it hooks around the corners, and it's got like the little pigtail thing attaches like with the clip to your life jacket. So then I keep it in the pocket.
But the case has like the attachment for it, like a ring or something.
It's just it's rubber, like it goes over the edges, and then it's got the coily thing. So it's like springy, but it's like a rubber
I've seen you wear it. I've seen it.
Yeah, it's on the corners. Like, it just attaches to the
It's
corners.
this thing, right?
Yeah.
I'll show
Yeah,
you.
that's it.
Oh yeah, share that.
We'll share it in the link, guys. The one that we use.
Man, make a submission fishing version of that.
That'd be cool.
Yellow and black. Well, so you
Yeah.
can watch your phone like
Submit
slowly
your
fall
phone.
in the water. You can slow pitch your phone.
That's what it looked like.
That's what it
looked
looked
like
when
the assassin jig.
That's what I
falling.
told Jessica. I was like, it was ironic because when I lost my phone, it fell down like a slow pitch jig. It was like, I was like, it was mocking me. It was pretty funny. Yeah, there's good stuff.
I'm gonna share the link to the strip one more time for anybody.
Yeah, we're gonna share the link for the trip one more time. We're about to wrap it up here, guys. So if you have any more questions, let us know. If not, we'll wrap it up. But we have Submission at Sea coming up. So September 24th, we're going on a trip out on the Malahini. So it's a custom trip. Like I said, you're gonna get jigs, seminars, there'll be giveaways, food. It's $300. It's limited spots. For right now, the only way you can get it is the link that Jessica's putting in. It takes you to our page, submissionfishing.com.
Next week it'll be findable.
Next week it'll be fine. So right now it's hidden, so you guys can only get it through the link. I guess even if you're watching the replay, you should be able to get it. I think if you can see the chat.
Yeah.
But
Read this.
if not, I will.
Sorry.
Um,
That and then
I
read
lost
that
my
one.
train of thought. If not, well, yeah, it's hidden. So if we don't sell out like in the next week or whatever from this, no big deal. We'll just put it on Instagram. But as a thank you, you guys are getting the first go, the live viewers. So yeah, check that out. And what do we have? One more.
Look at this.
My buddy actually dropped this one, and he
But
dropped
look
in the
at
water.
look at 4 down.
Which one?
That one right in the middle. Yeah.
Here?
Yeah. No, that one.
And we retrieved it with a jig. Oh, dude.
That's a come up.
Yeah.
That's an $800.
Yeah, but it was his buddies.
Yeah, but like you saved $800
Yeah,
something
that's true.
dollars.
Well, we had a guy that dumped over on one of our trips, and Leonard, I think, and we got a lot of his stuff back. I think Leonard got it with.
Oh, Leonard.
We were casting like A-rigs and stuff.
Was
and
that the
and
first?
pulled it in.
Was that the?
It was the
the Savage
yes,
bait
yes,
drop.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I had to jump off.
Sorry to
I came
interrupt you,
back.
but I was like
Was
blown
there a
away
link
that
to
they
the
were
shot?
actually able to catch the thing by the jig.
Yeah.
You know how lucky that is? Like, how do you even do that? It's so heavy.
Come on, Dave Rage. I didn't want to call him out by name. Yeah,
Marshall Ben. He's here like all the time.
it was funny. All right, guys. If you don't have any more questions, we'll let you go. Man, it was a long one. Way past my bedtime.
Dave says
Almost-
you don't need to sleep.
Almost an hour and 45 minutes, but it was a great show. I like having Kevin on. What do you got going on? Where can we find you? Where can we follow you?
This weekend on Saturday, I'm going to be doing Let's Talk Hookup with Chris Arechidera from CCA. We're going to be
Awesome.
on at 7 a.m. on Mighty 1090. It'll be recorded, so if you miss it, we still like to hear from you right on the live not the podcast, but the radio show. And there's going to be prizes and giveaways and stuff like that too. So join in, make sure you're listening. And the other thing is really support your tackle shops. Once we get Submission Fishing Company in these stores, and before we even do that, just go in and talk about them. Ask them, specifically say, do you have Submission Fishing Company slow death jigs? And they're probably going to wonder or hear about it from people like myself. But it's really important you get out there and you tell them that you want these products in the store so you can go get them, because that's the way it works. Like, you got to make sure you throw out some demand and make sure that you support the brands that you want inside those stores.
Yeah. It'd be nice to get it, I'd like to have you guys have them in the stores, so you can roll in and get them on your way to, instead of having to order them online, just go into the tackle store and get one before you hit the water, stuff like that. So I think that'll be good. And you're also on the CCA podcast too, right?
CCA podcast is every week. If I'm not on it, I got something else going on that day that we're doing it, but
Yeah,
you can
it's a good
listen
show.
to it on Spotify. I'll tell you, the last guest we just had yesterday when we were doing our podcast, it was awesome. Very different. We had a scientist, well, not a scientist, so she is a scientist, but a marine biologist, but there was a lot of really good questions that myself and Chris put out there that I think anglers have an appreciation for. Was something that's as jaded as a topic for all of our community as science,
Right.
and surveys and stuff like that. So
That's good. Yeah, it's the
listen.
CCA podcast, so support the CCA guys. If you're not a member, consider joining. It's awesome for our anglers. It's a good resource for us. They're out there fighting the fight when we can't, so I definitely recommend them. And yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Kevin, for coming on.
Yes,
I learned a lot of stuff, like always. Yeah, hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
That sounds great.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let us know. Like the channel, and thank you for all the support. If you guys want jigs, submissionfishing.com, obviously. Get your slow death jigs. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you for all the love. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Oos.
Oos.